Hello, everybody. The next assignment that we'll be working on is the sun. So if you need to pause the video and get that out of your packet and make sure you have what you need to do this, then go right ahead. Now, parents, we do these in our classroom about 3 times a week. I love these because it's just kind of a hodgepodge of the skills that we cover in 4th grade. And we'll have lots and lots of different topics. And like I said, they cover a lot of different skills. Every sheet has different skills. Of course, a lot of them are repeated to reinforce them. So these are really good, and they're usually pretty easy. And we learn from them too. We learn information from them. So this one about the sun, it starts with number 1, talking about figurative language. We do a lot of figurative language in our classroom and talk about what that is and why authors use that. We have a fun game that we play at school with figurative language where we get blue tickets, and I wish we could play that, but we can't. Hopefully, if we get back to school, maybe we can do that again this year. But it says to fill in the blank with the letter for the correct figure of speech. And it gives you a choice of personification, a metaphor, alliteration, or hyperbole. The first one says, the sun was a yellow ball in the clear blue sky. Now, boys and girls, that's comparing something. It's comparing the sun to a yellow ball in the clear blue sky. So when we compare, lots of times it's either going to be a simile or a metaphor. Now, what is the difference? Think about what the difference is. A simile uses 2 words that are very important. And what are those 2 words? Like or as. Yes. A metaphor compares 2 things without the use of like or as. So the sun was a yellow ball in the clear blue sky. So what is the answer? It's a metaphor. So that would be B. That's correct. The next one says, ouch, that pot is hotter than the sun. Do you think a pot could be hotter than the sun? No, it couldn't be. So what are they doing? They're exaggerating to make a point. So what is that? That's correct. It's D, hyperbole. Number 3, the sun peeked timidly through the clouds. So what is that? Yes, it's personification. What is being personified? What object is being personified? Yes, the sun. The sun can't really peek timidly, which means shyly, can it? No, it's being done for effect. And then the last one, Sue studied the sun to try to tell the time. What is this one? Yes, it's alliteration. That's one of the harder ones to remember and put that word together. The S's, look at your S's. See where I have, here you go. See where I've underlined them? Sue, S, studied, S, sun. And then they use alliteration again. To, there's a T, tell, the time. Okay? All right, number 3. Write 2 words that rhyme with the word sun, but that do not contain the letter U. I chose John, John, and bon, as in a bonfire or bonbons. I'm sure there's lots of people that chose all kinds of different things, but those were the 2 that I chose that rhyme with sun, John and bon. Okay, let's see. Oh, I forgot number 2. Where you had to rewrite the sentence correctly. It takes light from the sun 8 minutes to reach the earth. So which words did you correct? Let me get my whiteboard, and we'll do it on the whiteboard, kind of like we do at school. Okay, so the first word that you should have corrected, it, and they used take. So you got to have that subject and verb agreement. It takes. So that word should have been corrected. Light, and they misspelled light. They spelled it L-I-T-E. What kind of light are we talking about? That's correct. L-I-G-H-T. HT. So you should have corrected that word. It takes light from, it's correct, the sun, and sun should not be what? Should not be capitalized. That's correct. 8, and they spelled it A-T-E, 8 minutes. What kind of 8 is that? Yes, the number 8. E-I-G-H-T. 8 minutes. Okay, you got that much? To reach Earth. What about to? Is T-O-O the correct kind of to? No, that means like also or in addition to, doesn't it? It's T-O. And of course they misspelled reach. And they didn't capitalize what? Earth. When Earth is used as the name of a planet, which it is here, we always capitalize it. Okay? So those are the ones that should have been corrected. It takes light from the sun 8 minutes to reach Earth. I think I got them all. All right, we did number 3. Let's look at number 4. Use the words in the box to complete each analogy. Do you remember what an analogy is? An analogy is comparing two things. Sun is to star as Mars is to planet. That's correct, because the sun is a star and Mars is a planet. Next one. Sun is to hot as Neptune is to cold. That's correct, because the sun is very hot and Neptune is very cold. Number 3, moon is to night as sun is to day. That's an easy one. Earth is to sun as moon is to, yes, earth. How are those comparisons? Anybody know? The moon orbits the earth. Earth orbits the sun. Very good. Okay, number 5, you have to read a passage, and then you have to choose the text structure of that passage. We do that a lot, and your choices are, is it cause and effect? Is it describing something? Description. Is it a sequence? Or is it compare and contrast? All right, let's read this together. Follow along as I read. A son is born. Our sun was born about 4.6 billion years ago. Like all stars, it was formed in a cloud of gas and dust called a nebula. Inside the nebula, gases and dust were drawn together by gravity to form a protostar. The protostar got hotter and hotter. When it got enough to fuse hydrogen into helium, it became a main sequence star. When the sun has fused all of the hydrogen into helium, it will get much bigger and become a red giant. As a red giant, it will engulf Mercury, Venus, and maybe our Earth as well. But don't worry, that won't happen for another 6 million years. Which text structure was used to write this paragraph? What do you think? Cause and effect, description, sequence, or compare and contrast, and how do you know? Yes, the answer is C, sequence. Now the question is, how do you know? Lots of times when something's written in sequence, you can always hear the word first, second, next, or last. But this one's not so clear. You have to figure it out by reading, but it states what happened first, even though it doesn't use the word first, second, next, and last. Why is it not cause and effect? Nothing really caused anything else to happen, did it? I mean, it tells you kind of why the sun became what it did, but it's really written in sequence. Why is it not description? It doesn't say the sun is a big yellow ball that gives us light and heat. The sun is very hot. That would be describing the sun. So it's not describing it, is it? And it's certainly not comparing contrast. It's not comparing the sun to the moon or the sun to earth or sun to something else, is it? So the best answer here would be sequence. Number 6, fill in the blanks with the correct homophones. Our planet orbits around the sun. Which word did you choose? Which spelling did you choose for our? Right. It's that possessive pronoun right there. Whose planet? Our planet. And then sun. We're talking about the sun in the sky, not someone's sun. S-U-N. Okay? The last thing that it tells you to do, and they always ask me, and I have no idea why, do we do the star? And like, we always do the star. You know, unless it's something bizarre that we just can't do, or sometimes maybe we don't have time. We always do the star. The star says the sun is really hot. On the back of this paper, make a list of other things that are hot. And I think I came up with 11. You probably can come up with a whole lot more than that, but here's mine. Fire, boiling water, a stove, a hairdryer. It goes on and on. I won't read the whole list to you, but you see those. Those are kind of fun to do sometimes. Sometimes it's a writing assignment, and that's really good to do those. Okay, that completes the sun, so you can check that off of your bingo card. Bye.